guys, today I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. One of the most common questions I get asked is how do you make your dungeon tiles for your games? And the honest answer is I research it. I watch videos and I understand who has the best techniques. Sometimes I actually just make up a technique by myself, and that's where I feel most proud. But the technique that I had to start with is one that I actually had to learn by myself, that no one else could teach me. So that's what I'm going to teach you today using polystyrene. Let's jump into it.
So the first thing we're going to build today is going to be a set of tiles, what they call the 4x4. So it'll be 20 foot by 20 foot in game. And what these tiles are going to be are just your standard dungeon tiles. Now, what I use for it is styrofoam. This is just the learning one. This is the one that you don't need any special tools that you can't find in a household, and it allows you to get a good product. Now, the one thing about it is that you want to make sure that it's dense. If it's not dense and it's got too many air holes, it's not going to work very well and it's going to break apart. You can still do it, but you have to be very cautious. Then you need a pen. I use a ballpoint pen because what this allows is for the actual drawing of the items, it says that you can get a better detail into what you're going to do. Then you need a Stanley knife, or as they call it, a box cutter. You need to be very careful when using this. It is a crafting tool, but you always have to be careful when using these. Then you're going to need water and a disposable cup that you don't care about. A paintbrush. Now this one's an old one because I forgot that I need new ones. A shot glass, just a plastic one should do, or anything that you can mix paint into. Then you're going to need some white, some black, and then you'll also need a stirring stick. Now the two paints I'm using are just $2 shop at clearance. You can technically get every item from here from a $2 shop. So let's begin. Okay, so what I'm using here is what I like to call a grid mat, or a measurement mat. Now, the reason why I use this is because it has not only a centimeter rulers on the side, it has your inch rulers as well, but it also, if you pay attention, can have a miniature within the black squares of it. This is exactly the same size as it is on a battle mat or any official D&D product. That's why I love these grids, because I'm going to use the inches to make my tile. Now you can make the tiles as big as you like. I can use this whole board to make an entire grid, but I'm not going to because I like mine to be modular. Now, the best thing about it is that I'm going to go by 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the corner here, and on each side it'll say 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch. You probably can't see it from the angle, and same with on the side. So you grab your pen. What I also would like to do in a moment too is I do grab a ruler. Generally every house should have a ruler, but if you don't, you should grab a metal one like this, because it generally has centimeters, but it also has inches over here too. This will help out a lot in a moment. If you don't have a grid like this and you have one of these, generally these will always be flush, you can put it around there and start measuring like that. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the edge of the 4, try your best not to knock it like I did, but on the edge of the 4, you will just mark it. So now I have a little marking, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the best way for you to understand, if you've done it right as well, is that you treat 2 as 1, because 1 is in the very corner and you haven't gone to the very corner. Now, I'm going to put my ruler there and see if I hit 4 on where I went. So yes, I did. I'm going to go here. Yes, I did. Now, it's not detrimental if you're a bit under or a bit over. No one's really going to notice, and no one's really going to care. So, then what you're going to do, should flip it over to a way you're comfortable in doing this. Now, when I build stuff, I'm usually legs crossed on the floor, because I feel comfortable there, but I'm doing it on a table here to show you guys how to do it so you don't see my feet. So, go here, and I do what's called a cross method. So I put this flat as possible, and then I just do a dot here, so I go a little bit across, and then pretty much what you're doing is make a small little plus sign. So you just try your best, make sure. So now I have it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I go point here, here, and here. So I'm going to take my ruler, and the reason why I got the metal is because it's really good with this. You move this up to a point you're comfortable at. Now when you do this, you want to do light strokes, and you want to make sure your fingers are well enough away from the blade, and you take your time with this. So I go here, just light strokes. Now, if you do this, it will start to peel off everything. So that's not what you're going to do. You're going to do something called a saw action, where you take the blade and you go up, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, all the way down. It's like a stabbing motion. So make sure it's quiet. It's got length. You have a good hold on your ruler. You just go in, out. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you always put the blade away too. If I'm not mistaken, that should be sliced through now. Now, the bubbles will come out. Standard, it will happen, especially with this material. It doesn't particularly matter because this is like a stony texture. So if it does happen, don't freak out. It's going to add character to that tile. There you go. So now, yes, it does make a lot of mess. I remember that. See? You just double check, you can go to any corner, you just double check that it's in the 4x4, which this is, so it's good. Okay, so now we have this. We're going to create a texture. So we're gonna grab a pen, and remember what I said about these rulers. The funny thing is this is exactly 1 inch thick. That's why I love these ones. And to always test it, if you don't have one of these, so always just put a miniature right there, and you'll actually find out that this is 1 inch thick. It's a brilliant guideline in itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to mark my lines. I have all 4 sides done. Now, the easy part. You want to go lightly, okay? You want to draw back and forth. Now, if you're using a ballpoint pen like mine, it's gone. Don't worry about it. It's going to be messed up. You won't be able to draw really nice with it or anything, but I have my line. You want to do that, all of it. got all four sides. Now, important thing is to go down here and match it. I just freehand it. You just freehand it. Doesn't matter. So now we've got it side by side by side. He definitely fits in there. Now, if you don't want to paint, you don't have to. I believe you should. But before we do that, I'm going to add a little bit of character straight to here. Now I'm going to create a crack here. This is styrofoam, so it's not going to look super great, but it will pop once painted. So now I'm going to go here. And you can do some cool things with this, which I'll show you in later episodes, where it will be then, but pretty much I'm digging out a hole, which is like a crack. I'm gonna do the same on this one here. I'll continue this broken one. Yeah, so you just dig it in. Don't go too deep, and try not to create a new line. Yeah, because you go too deep, it will pop straight through the middle, and you want this to be nice. Okay, up to the fun part now. Now, you grab your cup, you grab your black and your white. Now, best thing to do with this, I always find it great for you to pour the white. Get about that much should do. So you see, not too much, not too little, but you just get, for the first layer anyway, you just get a drop of black. And you work your way, so you put that aside, and you work your way up. So that way, it will get lighter and lighter. So you just get your stirring stick, and you just start to make a gray. So that's the gray I've gotten out of this. Generally what I do here is I also would, now I just wipe it off here because I did not bring any tissues or anything to put this on. So I'm going to rest over an area that I know will be fine. I'm going to grab my water. And I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to start painting. Now, the painting, you want to make sure that you get into those areas. Alright, you want to make sure that they're in those crevices that you made.
And after letting it dry for a while, you get this. I do like this, especially with showing the cracks inside the tiles itself. It's just like if concrete would crack or the actual tile itself would crack. Now, you could get this to be a lot better in terms of washing it and doing a bit of dry brushing to give it its detail. Obviously, it's not going to look like this one. This one has more, like a better foam quality. As you look here, they're both different on both sides. Very bright when I did that, I'm sorry. But yes, these are two different ones that obviously they can meld together if you put them together. They're built to do the same thing, except this, if you don't pay attention to how the detail is going to be, you just do a couple of these. You can cut up about, I think, 20 of these in one day, paint it all, and then let it dry. And guess what? You've got enough tiles to drop at a table and for everyone to be wowed at the fact that you've actually got dungeon tiles. And this is the start of your journey of moving forward with building. And I'm going to show you what to do as well in later episodes with all the spares that I've got in the corner there. But anyway, I'll see you guys next episode. Thank you for joining. See you later.